Shalom, giving all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham HaKadosh. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. It means He is. Yahweh Shai is the name of His Son. It means He is who saves. HaKadosh is the name of the Holy Spirit. Just going into COVID a little bit. The COVID virus binds to a receptor. That is, the COVID virus needs to find a way into your body, and what it does is it kind of your body, even if you've seen like the COVID virus has got this kind of this, if you've seen it on a microscopic level, it's kind of this cell, it's got these spikes onto, and those kind of spikes fit in like a key in a lock into the surface of other proteins, and once it's done that, it's able to penetrate the cell wall and put its own instructions into your cells for how to and tell your cells to replicate itself. It kind of overtakes your own cell's replication mechanism and does it. However, those cells that it can bind to they're called the ACE2 cells. ACE2 stands for something that I just can't pronounce, but all you need to know is the ACE2 cells. Now, it seems that the ACE2 cells have a lower expression in black and dark people of the black race. There's a scientific study here. I may put the link in the description, but then again, I mean not, which had this section that said, therefore, taking these evidence into our hypothesis taking these evidence, our hypothesis consists in the potential COVID-19 less incident on the black race if only biological factors are considered. Now, another thing that is worthwhile mentioning is that the ACE2 protein is used for lowering the amount of salt and sugar in your system, which is one of the reasons why black people have a higher incidence of diabetes and hypertension. Salt causes hypertension, sugar causes diabetes, and we tend to retain more of those in our system because we come from climates where it's a lot hotter, where if you sweat you can lose a lot of the vital salts and minerals and sugars from your system. So our systems produce less of this ACE2 protein, which typically flushes out salts and sugars from the system. And if you look into the amount of the highest additives that are added to most foods, it is sugar and salt. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say there's been let's just put it this way, that the foods that we're eating are not conducive to our health. In fact, the additives that are added to the food that we eat seem to exploit our the drawbacks of the particular way that our systems work. Let's go back into the COVID. I'll find another article that will back up this information even more. One sec. This particular study concluded that because we have a high disposition to pulmonary, which is concerned with the heart, and renal, which is concerned with the kidneys and potentially pancreas, conditions or complications, that once we have COVID, if we are able to contract it, if it's able to bind to some of the fewer ACE2 receptors in our system, black people tend to suffer worse because the systems are already strained from hypertension and overloaded with sugar and salt in diabetes. So don't catch it, is the idea. But fortunately, um, we're lucky because we don't have as much ACE2 in our system, which is what the virus binds to in order to replicate. However, some news that I found out today is that the Maxine is an RNA reprogrammer. So generally, what they tend to do with vaccines is they tend to put a number of virus-like or pathogen-like cells into your system, such that your immune response is triggered. However, this particular virus is an RNA recombinant, and it's an RNA recombinant vaccine, which I believe means it will attach to your system and get your system to produce a lot of these virus-like pathogens for you to alert your own immune system. So it's in effect, it's another virus. The virus, the vaccine connects to your system and gets your system to produce more of itself. And what is it producing more of? It's producing more of the ACE2 protein. So black people are not particularly well suited to having a lot of ACE2 in their system, because that is not how we work. And this may have a lot of adverse effects, because our systems aren't designed to be flooded with ACE2. It's not the amount of ACE2 in the vaccine, because I don't think that it's quite possible that there isn't. But what it is it's a ACE2 instruction that they're plugging, an ACE2 replication command, if you like, that they plug into your system, that once it's in your system makes your body to produce a lot of ACE2. So we're not suited to this. This is we have adverse. It's not part of our physiology, of black people's physiology, and it may have adverse effects. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. The only other thing I want to mention is this is potentially why there's fetal tissue in it, because the fetus is developing, and the fetus has the special chemical signature, or the special chemical message in itself, that will tell tissue around itself to continue replicating, because this fetus wants to grow at a rapid rate. So they have got fetal young tissue, lung tissue from a Caucasian baby inside the vaccine, which I believe, or I'm not sure, this is just my own speculation now, believe contains the instructions to replicate ACE2 like tissue. So, having said all that, I think it's up to everybody. Then they should make the decision of whether they want to take the vaccine or not. The decision is given to all people. There are arguments on both sides, and I'll leave it down to you. Shalom.